Welcome to another episode of It's Just Percy Podcast. My name is Percy Collins, and I just want to jump on here for a few minutes. I want to talk about this Brittney Griner, the old basketball player that was sentenced to 9 years in prison, in a Russian prison, for trying to smuggle some illegal vape cartridges with drugs in it. She was just released in a swap for Viktor Bout, a Russian merchant entrepreneur, and uh, this is you have to look deeper. You have to this thing is deeper because it doesn't make sense that they would trade um a guy that was on the most wanted man on the wanted list for a gay basketball player. It's alleged it's a man, woman, or whatever, but they would swap the basketball player for the Russian guy, Victor Bout. Uh, this was the guy that was supplying weapons to the Africans. And that movie, Lord of the War, was based on him. Was about him with Nicolas Cage. And let me let me let me read something on him. Yeah, his name Victor Bout. He was a Russian arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death. He was swapped for Brittney Griner. Bout is a former Soviet military officer, was serving a 25-year prison sentence in the United States on charges of conspiring to kill Americans, acquire and export anti-aircraft missiles, and provide material support to a terrorist organization. He maintained, he was innocent. Russia had repeatedly called for Bout's release, slamming his sentence in uh, 2012 as baseless and biased. They had been negotiating his release for a long time. Griner, she had been, had for years played in offseason for a Russian basketball team. She was arrested on drug smuggling charges at an airport, despite her testimony and she had inadvertently packed the cannabis or found in her luggage. She was sentenced to 9 years, and but you got to look deeper. You're not seeing a bigger picture. This is a distraction. It's something brewing. Russia's supposed to be at war with Ukraine, and a lot of stuff we don't see that happens behind the scenes. America's is on the brink of collapse. I'm talking about the corporation because they want to usher in the new world order, that one world government. So by this guy being released, he's going back. He was being pushed by the Russians. They were trying to get him released back when he got convicted, and it doesn't make sense that they'll swap him, the most dangerous man, for a basketball player who knew what she was doing and had been doing it for years. I'm glad she's home, but it's something brewing. It's something deeper. Cause there's no way in the hell they would release this guy that's been on the American Most Wanted list for years for a basketball player, and he's going back to doing exactly what he's been doing. This guy was killing Americans. So it said Bout history in the arms trade extended much farther afield. He had been accused of assembling a fleet of cargo planes to traffic military-grade weapons to conflict zones around the world since the 1990s, fueling bloody conflict from Liberia to Sierra Leone and Afghanistan. Allegations of trafficking activities in Liberia prompted U.S. activity to freeze his American assets in 2004, and block any U.S. transaction. So he was a Soviet officer, most likely a lieutenant, who simply saw the opportunity presented by three factors that came with the collapse of the USSR and the state sponsorship that entailed: abandoned aircraft on the runways from Moscow to Kyiv, no longer able to fly because of lack of money for fuel and maintenance, huge stores of surplus weapons that were guarded by guards suddenly received little or no salary, and the booming demand for these weapons from the traditional Soviet clients and newly emerging arms groups from Africa to the Philippines. They say he had worked as a military officer in Mozambique. Others said it was actually Angola. It's bigger than Brittney Griner. And you got to ask yourself, why would the U.S. agree to release this guy? This guy was on the American Most Wanted list, most dangerous man, the most dangerous man on the American Most Wanted list, and they swapped him for a basketball player. What you think he's going to go back to do? He ain't going back to be just a regular old citizen. He's going back to doing exactly what he's been doing, and see uh, you're going to see what's going to happen. He's going to be the catalyst for this damn war. Cause he's an ally to Putin. This has nothing. This has nothing to do with Brittney Griner. She was just a pawn, and I think that was a setup. I think that was a setup. I think that was a setup, and it's a distraction because you got to look deeper. It's deeper and it's bigger than Griner, because they had been trying to get Griner and that other American that's over there. Wheeling, I think that's his name. That was a chess move, and this and I think we're gonna regret doing that. We're gonna regret doing that. Like I said, I'm glad she's home, but the shit is about to hit the fan. The shit is about to hit the fan. They're gonna swap a man that used to be on the American Most Wanted list. He served 15. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. He served 15 years for a damn basketball player. Y'all don't see the problem. Y'all so distracted by the release of the basketball player. She knew exactly what she was doing when she went over there. She had been doing it because had they had the death penalty over there, she could have been sentenced to death. If you find any value in this video, like, share, subscribe to my channel. It's Just Person Podcast. And like I always say, whatever you do it better. But it's something bigger, something brewing behind the scenes, and it's bigger than Brittney Griner and Viktor Bout. I'm glad she's home, but shit is about to hit the fan.